So, my name is Julia Kuznetsova, and I'm a team leader in Exness, and today I would like to talk with you about the art of behavioral interview. I will share with you a lot of useful information how to hire the best people for your teams. But before I start, I would like to share with you a little story why I decided to share all this knowledge with you. So I remember the time when I started to conduct behavioral interview, and for sure I completed some courses, some trainings, how to do it, but anyway, I wanted to know all details, all information, how to make it really perfect. And could you imagine my surprise when I started to Google for this information and I found a gap, like all information is for candidates. How to answer questions, how to make the impression, how to pass the interview, and all this stuff. And almost zero information for interviewers, for leaders, for managers. I was upset. That is why I collected all my knowledge and all my experience, and today I will provide you a guide how to make an amazing interview, and after this you will have a structure in your head, and for you it will be easier to do it and understand if you should hire this person or no. I suppose all of you know what is behavioral interview, but anyway, in order to make the same context for everyone, let's quickly check their definition. What is it? So basically, there are two types of interviews. The first one is technical, where we check hard skills of their candidate and understand if he can do the job or no. And their second type is aimed to check soft skills, to check motivation, values of the person, and understand if this person makes our team stronger or no. And let's speak about the cost of hiring the employee who doesn't fit. First two is about losing team productivity and team stress. You know that when a new person comes to the team becomes a bit slower because of their adaptation period and because of all people need to understand how to work with each other and so on. So imagine you hired conflict person or the person who doesn't want to do his job, and team can be really stressed about it. Also, it's time for you, like for managers, which you need to spend to manage this employee, to help him to do the job, navigate him, and so on. And also, in the end, if you understand that he should not have been hired, oh my God. If you understand that this person should not have been hired, you will need to do very stressful process of offboarding of this person. I know that all of us are here, almost all of us are here, are engineers, not psychologists. But anyway, in order to make a good interview, we should know some life hacks and tips from psychology, and I will provide you some information here. First, magic here is DISC methodology. Guys, raise your hand who knows what is it. Yeah, great. Some people know it. And I suppose some of you noticed that all people are different, right? All people are different. And in order to understand people, sometimes we need to know about their behavior. So there is a very powerful tool which describes 4 main types of behavior of the person. For example, imagine that you would like to launch a very successful startup, but you have only engineers and only technical people in the team. In order to make it successful, you need to have a person who will communicate a lot, who will sell your idea to other people. So you need to have a combination of different behavioral styles in your team. I know that this topic is quite huge. That is why I recommend you to read this book, Surrounded by Idiots, and you will understand people better, and you will understand yourself better as well. So the next thing here is about questions. There are 3 types of questions: open, closed, and alternative. And during their interview, you need to be focused to ask open questions. Like here, can you describe a project that you are particularly proud of? Because these types of questions will provide you a lot of information about the person and a lot of insights for you. And closed questions like, do you like tea? And the answer only yes or no. Or alternative, would you like to drink tea or coffee? So we provided 2 choices for person. So keep your attention to ask open questions. The next thing here is about behavior insights questions. So the first one is about past experience. Basically, it's believed that based on the past experience of the person, we can predict his future behavior. That is why we can ask some questions about previous experience and see what we check. So the next one is situational questions. Actually, it's my favorite one type because you can provide any situation to the person, maybe about your problems which you have at the project or in the team, and you can see how he's going to resolve it. So it can be really interesting, and sometimes guys during the interview can provide you some really cool solutions. And this type of questions, it's quite hard to find in the internet and prepare answer. And the next one here, you need to understand motivation and expectation of the person. For you, like for managers, it's really important to understand what drives the person to make the job. And the last thing here from psychology, it's about our biases. You know, our brain is quite lazy, and our brain tries to save energy, so that is why for us it's easier to think by pictures, by stereotypes, and so on. So, there are really many biases, but here are 4 main important, which you need to know. And the first one is about first impression. Please don't judge the book by its cover. The second one is about halo effect, focusing on a shiny detail. You know, some candidate can tell you that I worked in Google or in Amazon or Citibank, some big company names, and then you don't see other details because you have this aureole and you have some expectation from the person. The next one here is about stereotyping. You know, almost all nationality has some stereotypes, and we have stereotypes about ages, males, and so on. So please don't do it. Keep it in mind that we should not stereotype people. And the last but not the least here, it's about projections. Actually, the most difficult one, It's about that sometimes we see ourselves in other people. And it's not good because it's about other people, it's not about us. Okay, go further. What we should do before the interview? Step 1, we should know exactly what person we want to hire. How to make it, it's very easy. We should define the position, and definition of the position already provide us a lot of answers what this person should be. For example, if you would like to hire art director, I suppose this person should be really creative, right? So based on the position, you should identify what skills are really important for this person, and then also important to analyze and understand if communication skills are needed or not. For example, if you hire a salesperson or business system analyst and you understand that this person is going to communicate a lot with users, stakeholders, and other guys, he should have very good communication skills to make the job. And the step number 2 is about preparation the list of questions. Remember that during the interview we have only 1 hour to understand if we should hire the person or not. That is why all questions should provide us some information. Less questions, better than the quantity of questions. How to prepare these questions? Based on their soft skills which we understood we needed for this position, we should identify some areas which we want to check. It can be, for example, his teamwork ability, his expectation, leadership, decision-making, proactiveness, seniority, and etc. So it can be different from team to team, from manager to manager, but it's the main one. For example, for me, it's really important that all guys should have some seniority and be responsible for work and be able to find the solution if they face with some problems. Okay. Imagine that in a couple of minutes, interview is going to be started and you feel a bit stressed about it. And also it's really stressful moment for the candidate as well. That is why it's really important to make a good atmosphere and relax. How to make it? It's very simple. First of all, at least use your smile, and then you can make a warm greeting. You can introduce yourself. You can greet this person like, hello, welcome to the interview. How are you today? And it already makes difference. Then you can explain the structure of the interview, and as we conduct behavioral interview, we can say that there is no right and not right questions. It's discussion. We are trying to understand and get to know each other better. The next thing here, I really believe, and I know that interview can be conversations, not examinations. I know that some interview can look like an exam, like, tell me about yourself. Right. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Right. If you would be a fish, what fish it would be? Interesting. So I really believe that we should speak with the person, like with our friend. And how to make it? Advice is very simple. Just listen. Listen to this person, what he is saying. How often you noticed that sometimes you hear your friends, but you don't understand what they said just a second ago. It's just because we don't actually listen to other. So during the interview, it's especially important to listen what this person is saying to you. Then let's check examples of questions. Again, let's just a reminder. It's our focuses which we would like to check. That is why all our questions should provide some value for us. And the first question should be a window to the candidate world. It should provide us a lot of information and a lot of insights about him. For example, you can ask something like this. Your experience is impressive, and I'm interested to know more details. Could you tell me about achievements you are most proud of? And this question can provide you a lot of information. First, listen and what you hear. Some guys can say that I don't have achievements at all. It's okay. Maybe the person is shy, maybe stressed. It's okay, you should ask more, maybe about challenges and something like this. But listen to what this person is saying to you, because how big these achievements, how ambitious, how this person, what he's saying about his team, what he used like more, like I made it, I proposed, I did it, or he used we in the team, we made this, we launched it, we reached all our goals. And this information will provide you understanding how this person prefers to work. He prefers to work alone or in the team, and something like this. So the next thing here is about proactiveness and seniority. A very good type of question here is situational ones. So you can provide any situation, problematic situation, and see what this person is going to tell you. For example, imagine you are leading a project that faces unexpected problems, and the team might miss the deadline. How would you tackle this situation to ensure that the project stays on track? So listen to what this person is saying to you. Some people can say that, who made this problem for our project? It was a project manager. It means it's his problem, not mine. Some people can ask you questions, and it's okay. You can provide more information and see how this person is going to resolve it. So the next thing here is very important for us to check if this person is conflict or not, because if the person creates a lot of conflicts in the work atmosphere, in the work environment, it can be really stressful for the team. So here you can ask the question like, can you describe a situation when you faced a significant conflict at work, and how did you resolve it? What it was? Maybe you want to ask me, why should we ask these questions? Because these questions exist in the internet, and the person maybe know the answer on these questions. Yes, you are right. It can be. That is why for us it's really important to make cross-information check, to check consistency in his answers. For example, we asked about his conflict in the past, and now you need to recheck this information. So you can ask situational question like, imagine that you have an idea and you're really amazed about this idea, but the team is saying that it's not good, we are not going to do it. How are you going to manage it? And you should see if the person has consistency in his answers. It's really important. And the next thing here is about motivation. It's really, really important for us to understand what drives the person to make the job. What is it? And we should know it, because imagine you need to hire, let's say, data analyst, but when you ask him what motivates him, he is saying that he doesn't like to work with numbers, actually. He likes to communicate a lot. and he likes to create something beautiful, and he has some great ideas for it. So it can be really problematic, and you need to pay attention to it. Also, what questions can be for motivation? Just few more examples here. I really like this question, like, if you could eliminate any part of your workday, what would it be and why? And sometimes people just delete the tasks which they don't like, and it will provide you insights. So, some more tips here. The first one, it's really important during the interview, make notes. I understand that sometimes we think that we have very good memory, and I made this mistake several times. I didn't make any notes, and I thought that I would remember everything. But it's not true. Anyway, it's not possible to remember all details. And also, you need to provide very good feedback to the person, to the candidate, and HRs, they will be really grateful for your feedback, for a lot of information about this person. Also, if you decide to hire this person, these notes also can be helpful for you, because you have all the information about his motivations, about his soft skills, what he likes or not. So sometimes I make like a recheck if I were right during the interview or not. The next thing here, remember, it's a two-way street. Not only you choose their candidate, the person to your team. Candidates are also choosing you. And there are a lot of companies, so that is why it's really important to make a good impression, to be polite, to leave enough time for questions from the candidate, and provide as much information as possible. And the next thing here, I really love it. So look beyond the surface to see the potential for greatness in every candidate. So some people, they can be shy, or sometimes it will be required a little mentorship from our end, and then these people will bloom. So it's important to see it. And there are no really perfect people, and sometimes it's important to help to develop some skills. Okay, we completed the interview, and now we need to make a decision. Should we hire this person or not? And sometimes it can be really difficult because, for example, if to check my first interviews, I was really feared about this step, because I thought, what if I'm not right? What if I am subjective here? And it's okay to think like this. So here I will provide you some tips which can be helpful for you. First, you remember that we created focuses that we need to check. After the interview, you have answers, and you need to understand if you have match between your expectations and what the person said to you. So if everything is good, it means that this person is good and probably we should hire him. If no, let's think, what should we do? Also, you should take into consideration red flags. The first one is inconsistent answers. If you notice that some answers were inconsistent, it means that probably the candidate lies to you, and probably he is telling some not correct information, or he is telling not his experience. The second one here is negative comments about his previous employee and about his teammates. It's also a sign to think. The next thing here about avoiding responsibility. And the next one, really important also, it's about overemphasis on titles or compensations. So when you have the part where candidate asks you questions, pay attention what he asks you. is only about his title, about his next promotion, about his salary increase, and something like this. I understand that, yeah, money is important, but anyway, we should have passion for work, and the candidate should also want to grow with us and bring value to us. The next thing here is about poor communication skills. Yes, for some positions, we don't need very great communication skills, but very poor can be really problematic for us. And the last thing here is about signs of overconfidence or arrogance. Maybe some of you think that it's not bad, but imagine that you need to communicate every time with this person who behaves like this. And your team also should communicate with him, and it can be a problem. Okay, the last thing here. So, should we hire or not hire? How to decide? Basically, after interview, you should have only two answers, like yes or no. If you have some doubts, it's better to change it to no, because sometimes for us, for people, it's really hard to say no, and we are trying to come up with some ideas what we can do. But it's not good when we are talking about hiring. For sure, there's no like white and black, but anyway, it can be helpful for you. Basically, that's it. So now I hope so that you have a structure in your head about how to make their interview, and this information was useful for you. Thank you very much for your attention.
So, Julia, it was a nice presentation, but don't you think that, I got an impression that you guys, or you in particular, skewed, let's say, towards finding the guy or whatever, the girl or whoever, employee, who, let's say, too communicative. For me, it was seeing like you're looking for someone too calm or too convenient, let's say, which zero chance to be in a conflict, to be a super communicator, etc., etc. In my opinion, because I also have experience in some communication with people and teams, etc., but I got the impression from experience that some people, and most actually productive people, are a little bit of arrogance, they don't care about the communication, all that stuff. They just do the job. They see the goal. They self-developed, and they don't care. In many cases, they don't care about what other people think about them. Are they convenient to others or not? But don't you think that you are too focused on the communication?
Thank you for your question. Actually, my focus was here not about their searching for convenient people or not convenient people. The focus was to explain how to make their behavioral interview. I understand that all people are different, and that is why I mentioned their DISC methodology. So people, which you mentioned, it's dominant type, and these people can be really conflict, can be arrogant, and it's normal. But these people, they can also can adapt their behavior, because anyway they work in the environment of other people. And imagine if in the team we have only people like this who are very arrogant, who like to defend their ideas. They don't like to listen to others. They are very quick in their decisions, so it can be really stressful. And it can be really hard to make decisions, because all people, they have own ideas and they don't like to listen to others people. Is it an answer?
You explain how to get to the decision, yes or no, in the end of behavioral interview. But, if you have several candidates. How to choose between them? Do you have like a framework how we can score with them, for example?
I don't have such framework, and for me personally, I don't like their approach like this, to wait, to compare candidates, not to provide them answers as quick as possible, because we need to choose, we need to compare, because we have our expectation. And if the person doesn't match, it means that probably we should go further, and probably he can find better job for him. That is why I think it's better to make a decision as much as earlier after interview, and not to create this additional pressure for you and for the candidate not to provide answers. So I don't have the framework how to choose the best one. I believe that after the interview we need to understand, should we hire him or not.
I have a question about the timing pricing. Additional interview could be expensive for the company, and we need to make another one time slot. Based on your experience, how the better combine behavioral interview and technical interview, or behavioral interview need to be first with HR manager, how to you do it, and how the best option, what do you think?
Thank you for questions. I was thinking about this, how it's better to do it, but I believe that technical interview should be the first, because maybe we can understand that for other teams this guy fits better for the requirements which we have in other teams and other projects. So I think their technical interview should be the first, but I didn't try another approach. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi all, my name is Daniil. I'm a QA lead at TradeTech team at one of Exness competitors. Julia, thank you for this presentation. I've got some interesting insights. May I ask you the question? Let's imagine you quite theoretical situation. You are able to ask one and the only one question to the candidate. What will be the question?
Thank you, Daniil, for your question. I don't know, actually. But probably I would ask him about the questions which I showed to you, like a window to the candidate world. Yes, maybe I would ask him about his achievements, and I hope that he will provide me some information. And then, if this person wants to continue, we can continue. It's like a dialogue.